Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skyazrael.com. Let's talk about being cynical, being a cynic. There's nothing wrong with being a little cynical in the right situation. It's a good skill to have, and it can be used as a tool of wisdom. You can use that as a way to help you navigate. But when you become too cynical, you're a cynic. That's a form of weakness. It's holding yourself back. It is a way to dull the world, a bright and beautiful world, and make it dull and dark and gloomy. To take all the fun out of everything. There's a lot of cynical people, and it kind of used to be a natural progression with age, where as you got older, especially as a man, you became more of a curmudgeon, more grumpy, and more cynical, because you thought you knew everything. But we see this condition, I think it's a mental condition of cynicism. We see it amongst young people. And maybe it's the internet that has done it to us. And how can you blame people for being cynical with the internet? Because everything is fake. But there's people that have gotten lost in cynicism, almost like it's a religion, where they truly think everyone is a fraud, everyone's a liar, everything is fake, nobody deserves a thing. Nobody is truly talented. You must have got there through some sort of ill-gotten gains. You must have cheated or whatever. Nobody's really deserving of anything. You don't deserve to be rich. You probably got that money because of some luck, because your parents were rich. You're a trust fund brat. They're not going to hear your story of rags to riches, and even if you do have one, and you have a legit rags to riches story, the American dream, you're a hero, the cynic will figure out a way to make it seem like that you don't deserve it. That seems to be the underlying thread with cynicism across the board. When you look at cynical people in any scenario about any topic, it kind of boils down to, you don't deserve what you have. Or, you aren't who you say you are. You're a liar. All muscular guys are on steroids. All hot chicks are either photoshopped or plastic surgery, and it's all fake. They're all frauds. There's no true beauty. You could go through any topic. It always feels like that this is a statement. Cynical people, and I know for myself, when I was very cynical looking at the world, I was at the bottom. Not just economically, but I was. But I was a weak person. I was a weak man, a weakling. Physically, mentally weak. I was a loser. So when you're a weak loser, anybody who's successful, it's kind of a stinging blow. Because you know if that man did it, you could probably figure out how to do it too, but it's easier to just discount it as, that guy's a fraud. It almost makes you out to be more virtuous than him. By staying stuck, by staying a loser, you're more virtuous than the guy who's got big muscles. Because you're not on steroids, and you're not some pretentious weirdo who looks at themselves in the mirror too much, or who focuses on outward appearance. And then you can just kind of discount everything that person is doing as just bullshit. We can do this with musicians. We can do this with financial wizards. We can do this with anything and be cynical about it. It's weird to be around people like that. I mean, I used to be this way, and as I've started to work on myself, work harder at my job, work smarter with my entrepreneurial endeavors, work smarter in the gym and get results. And as I started to get results, I'm in good shape now, I got lots of money now, I've run, countless businesses over the last 20 years. I've been using this mind, body, and soul program to guide me, and I have a certain amount of success in multiple areas of my life, and that's one of the reasons why I've started this channel, so I could figure out a way to give back, so I'm not so selfish with this. I don't want to be selfish with my success. And it's interesting when I get around cynical people, they have this undertone of anger to them, where you mention anything, and they're just like, with a scowl, like physically and visually they look angry. A cynic isn't going to respond with smiles. They always respond with negativity, because they think everybody is undeserving. Now, how can we not be this way? If you have people in your life that are heavily cynical, you can just X them out of your life. You can, try to convince them out of their delusion. But I like to look at my own behavior. It helps me understand the behavior in general. But when it comes down to it, all we can really do is help ourselves. All we can really do is change ourselves. I can force myself to change. I can't force you to change. We can be examples. I try to remember that I have worked hard for things. I got a college degree. I have dyslexia, heavily dyslexic. I went to special schools for it when I was a little boy. Getting that college degree wasn't just dumb luck. It wasn't because I just had rich parents. It was the hardest thing that I ever did, one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was grueling torture. It took me longer than other people, and it was a lot more difficult for me than it may be for you. I could barely read. And I did it. I'm just choosing one experience in my life, but it would be easy for a cynic to discount that experience. But when you go through something that you work hard for, that you have blood, sweat, and tears for, whatever it may be, you feel like you deserve it. I started this motorcycle company from nothing. And it's been running for more than 20 years, and we have international recognition. And I've made good money off it. I bought a house with a pool. And it took me out of the ghetto. I started the motorcycle shop in the jungles in LA. That's a fucked up neighborhood. In the West Side, South Central. And it's easy for people who don't know me to discount it, to be cynical on that experience. But when you fought for something, and you've gone through all the torture to get there, to grab that brass ring, to get the success, you've reached a goal. Have you ever had a goal and reached it? And then had some dumbass try to sit here and tell you that you don't deserve it? Fold their arms and be like, I don't even bother with people like that. But you want to self-regulate so you don't fuel this fire of cynicism that is stealing valor, that is stealing virtue, it's stealing success, it's stealing character, it's stealing positivity from hardworking, honorable, deserving people. And I think that we should celebrate each other. We should have a culture, a society where we celebrate each other rather than fold our arms, always being like, he don't deserve shit. Fuck that motherfucker. It's weird how success works. When I first started my motorcycle shop, let me rephrase that. When I brought my motorcycle shop from Los Angeles to Florida, to Daytona Beach, So it was like a relaunch. Nobody knew me in this town. I'm not from Florida. I didn't have friends here. I moved here because of research that I did on the internet and targeted a place that I felt would be a good place for me to be able to be successful in this industry. And I started meeting people right away. I have the ability, if I want to be very outgoing, A-type personality. Especially when I have the motivation of promoting a company, I can be outrageously extroverted. And everybody that I met jumped into two camps. Either fuck Sinister or I love Sinister. And sure, I like when people like me. What I thought was interesting is the people that didn't like me. I was fascinated with them. Because you don't know me. And these people very often had never been inside my motorcycle shop, so they didn't have, it's not like they walk in the shop, they see a bunch of bikes that they hate, and they're like, fuck these guys. All they did was see us at a bike night one night, and they're just like, well, we don't like them. There'd be people that would see our ad in a magazine and then just go start talking shit about us, that they would just hear about us. Oh, there's a new shop in town, and they're from California, and these guys are doing pretty well, and they have a pretty big following, and they'd instantly just fold their arms and be like, and get all cynical. As if we don't deserve shit, we're all frauds. I was fascinated with that idea, with that opinion, that notion. Where do you guys get this from? So when you find yourself in this knee-jerk reaction of cynicism towards someone else's success, towards anything beautiful and wonderful and forward-moving, second guess it. Second guess your cynicism. And ask yourself, is this a survival tactic? Am I protecting myself from being conned or scanned? Because that's when cynicism can be helpful. Or is this just me being negative on another man's success, being an anchor to another person? We can't be anchors. We want to be propellers. Propel other people. I want everybody around me to be successful. If I'm hanging out with 5 successful people, I'll be the 6th. It's all food for thought.